Oh, Canada.
You mean Olympic?
Oh, my God. I mean, yes, Olympic. What would the country of Olympic be?
I don't know. But it sounds kind of like call your doctor if Olympic is right for you today.
Yes, you may be entitled for financial compensation. Well, I mean, okay, so we're definitely not getting financial compensation for all the jokes that we make here. But anyway,
And especially not from the Olympic Committee.
yeah, no, definitely not. They're gonna copyright strike this in both Russia and Botswana, and now Bolivia for some reason.
Yeah.
So
well, we know the reason.
exactly. But welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the JavaScript. Woo! Exactly. Oh.
My air
volume
horn was
wasn't
broken,
up.
sorry.
Sorry about that. But yeah,
You mean my real life air horn that I have sat next to me at all
yes.
times?
I mean,
was
yeah,
broken.
exactly. Or is it that air horn guy who keeps walking into the freaking studio?
Damn it.
Dang it, air horn guy! Why are you always here?
Sounds like the SpongeBob. Hoopla!
Hoopla! Sounds like a lot of hoopla. But yeah, anyway, so the reason why we played the Olympic theme, that sounds, by the way, a lot like O Canada, and you can't correct me on that because it is O Canada. Anyway, we are going to be discussing, and you know, the Olympics are not coming up anytime soon, I don't think, when we release this.
No, because we had Olympics last year.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna be talking about the redacted Olympic sports, and this is a topic that's been on the free wheel for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. Because when did we come up with it? Like what, December, November, something like that. Before we went on like hiatus. So things like, for example, I mean, I think they're bringing back tug of war, right? And like, or they're removing breakdancing, or are they bringing it back? Who knows?
Here, I'll tell you the 5 sports that are coming back.
Okay.
Let me have a look. Let me just go to my library and just do some research.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, while he's doing that, so it's things like that, but more absurd, right? Things that have been removed from the Olympics, but because they're weird. Not because they're like they just fell out of fashion or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the things that either shouldn't be sports.
Yes.
Or why were they in the Olympics to begin with?
Yeah. Once upon a time, actually, I thought that I didn't think that competitive eating was an actual sport. It is an actual sport.
Oh yeah, and it's a really disgusting sport.
It's a really disgusting sport, yes, but I would argue that a lot of sports are disgusting because you're talking about sweaty people.
But here's the thing, I'd rather see sweaty people than someone stuffing a water-drenched hot dog into their face 127 times over.
Well, clearly you don't watch porn. Anyway,
That's a different kind of hot dog.
the jokes are getting rowdier here at the JavaScript.
And I thought I was the one that had been drinking.
Well, okay, I am sleep deprived and running
fair.
on energy drinks. So, you know, it's comparable to being drunk, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah, a little bit.
So here are the 5 sports that are coming back to the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics.
Okay.
Baseball, which makes sense because it's America.
Yeah.
Softball makes sense because it's the women's version of baseball.
Okay.
Lacrosse. Don't really get that one, but okay.
Yeah, they want to get their point lacrosse.
Ah.
Where's I'm getting better at this.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like we can remember where the buttons are.
Yeah, exactly. As long as we can.
Watch, I'm going to jinx it and press the wrong one in a minute.
Right, exactly.
Squash, which in America is racquetball.
Okay.
And the last one.
It's cricket.
Yeah.
All right.
So the reason that's weird for me is, does anyone watch cricket in America?
Well, maybe some weird people, because there's also some people who watch BBC America.
Way to call me out. I see how it is.
Yeah.
It's because, cricket is one of the most popular sports in the world, mostly because of India. Because if you've got 1 billion people that are watching it, you're automatically ahead of most other sports, especially the Super Bowl.
I think okay. So I was thinking of a sport, and it's definitely not cricket, because I was thinking of croquet, right? So I was just imagining for like 5 seconds there that cricket was croquet, right? And I was like, wait a minute, do people actually watch like where you hit a hammer with the balls?
No, it's like the one in Alice in Wonderland where they're hitting
Yeah.
those weird furry creatures.
Yeah, or in BDSM where you hit your balls with a hammer.
Jesus, you're in a very weird sexual mood today, aren't you?
I don't know. I'm on fire today.
Hopefully not for other reasons.
Okay.
Anyway. But yeah, so there was a bit of a side story here.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Sam's Club a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And I saw a guy wearing a Henderson Cricket Club shirt.
There's a cricket club
But
here.
like he was like it was the uniform. It wasn't the shirt. So he was obviously one of the players.
Okay.
And I was like, what? I didn't think of looking it up at the time because I was so distracted by all the deals that I was getting.
Okay.
But it just hit me. It was like, does that say Henderson Cricket Club?
Or man, is there any other city in Nevada that's called Henderson, or is it just
No, just
our
us.
Henderson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's like a Henderson, Ohio, and he was representing, he just happened to be in the other Henderson.
Yes, and we want to shout out to the people of Henderson, Ohio, obviously. Right.
Well, we need some coverage from the people of Botswana that can't listen to us anymore.
What do you mean? Well, we still have listeners from Henderson, Botswana.
No, they've been banned. Them in Henderson, Russia.
What
Sorry,
about-
Hendersonovich.
Well, what about the people from Henderson, Bolivia? You can't leave them out.
You mean El Henderson?
El Henderson, yes, exactly. El Henderson. Yeah.
So anyway,
moving on.
Today we're going to be talking about redacted or discontinued Olympic sports.
Yes.
So like we said, it's all the ones that why the hell were they in there in the first place?
Yeah.
And
And just
some of
like-
them, because I haven't fully looked through the list, I just have a list here.
Okay.
But some of them we might want to bring back. So if there's any
Sure.
point that you say we should bring back, we should bring back.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
and just like the last episode, this is not going to be like a National Spaghetti Holiday, right? These Olympic sports are not going to be like ultra basic sports like like cycling or whatever the frick. I mean, they're still cycling, right? In the Olympics.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You're cycling through the different stages of depression, basically. And I won a
Exactly.
gold medal at that. So
Exactly.
But that reminds me of this one TikTok that I found. It was like I think it's a popular sound too, where somebody was like doing a yoga pose. And it's like, okay, so now we're gonna go into downward spiral.
Nice.
So people, instead of doing a pose, they're like curling up and like just going into downward spiral.
That makes me think of. Do you remember that? I'm pretty sure it was a Vine of the Grinch, and he's in a yoga class. And he just
Yeah,
does-
scream let out your inner demons. Oh my god, I still remember that. That was awesome, amazing, the best.
There was a reel I saw earlier, and it was this guy, and he was like, so I heard that baking is supposed to cure your depression.
Okay.
So I made this pie, but I wasn't happy with how it came out. So I made these two other pies, and I made these Rice Krispie treats, and I made this banana bread, and I've currently got cookies in the oven. Can someone tell me how much baking I need to do until the depression goes away, because it's not working?
What about that one TikTok? I don't know. This one was a pretty popular sound too, but I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like, so it was somebody.
Come on now, Gerard, you know I'm not on TikTok.
You are. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I
But
appear on TikTok.
it could be on Reels as well, because it was a very popular sound, right? And it was this guy who was like saying like, oh, coffee can cure your depression, right? And then somebody stitched it saying like, I'm still depressed, but now I'm fast.
It's what was that? I've got the power of God and something on my
Anime
side.
on
That's
my-
it.
I've got the power of God and anime on my side. Yeah.
I'd be terrified of that kid, especially with his plastic lightsaber.
I mean, that could cause like 10 damage or whatever, however XP, whatever gaming terminology.
1d20.
Okay, Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, you talked about damage.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, so
Really rolled a nat 1 on that joke. Okay.
no, I was
Moving
doing that
on.
for both of us.
Moving on.
So, funnily enough, the first sport on the list,
Okay.
you've already brought it up.
Okay.
It was tug of war.
Oh. Well, that's not absurd.
So
you
that's
know?
the thing. I actually think tug of war should come back because
Yeah.
it's basically like weightlifting.
Yeah.
It's a test of
Essentially,
strength.
yeah. Yeah,
you know?
so basically, so the Olympics is just a show of like athleticism, essentially.
exactly.
Right? And what's more athletic than tug of war when
Yeah.
you're showing off like how strong you are?
Exactly. And
Right.
plus, it was probably a homage to the original Greek Olympics, because they would probably have had some form of tug of war or
I don't
something.
know what a homage is, but I know what an homage is.
Don't be mad at me because your chocolate mountains are melting.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Moving on.
But yeah, tug of war was in the Summer Olympics from 1900 to 1920. So it was one of those ones that actually lasted for quite a while.
1900 to 19.
Well, actually not a while, because they probably didn't have any Olympics during World War II.
Yeah, it ended 105 years ago, Nick.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, so that's not lasting a while, considering the Olympics have lasted for 125 years.
Well, technically, they've lasted for 1,000 years because they did it in Greece.
That's true. Yeah, but then when a certain Hitler-esque person restarted it, yeah, it was him.
Who stopped the original Greek Olympics?
No, he was like, I think he was the one who started the modern Olympics that we know now.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Hitler.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. It was.
Look
I
it
can't
up.
remember his name, but it was some French guy. It was like
Look it
Pierre
up.
de Coubertin or something like that.
Look it up.
Creator
Of the
of
Olympics.
the. Oh, sorry. Let me just go to my library.
Yeah. I'm also going to go into the library. I think there's a lot of interesting books in here. Oh my God, why do you have 50 Shades of Grey in here?
Gerard, put the Kama Sutra down. Yeah. So Baron Pierre de Coubertin.
I don't know.
Bloody Hitler.
There was something about...
Well, so the story you probably know about Hitler. So the 1936 Olympics were in Berlin. And there was a story with Jesse Owens.
Okay.
Because Jesse Owens was an African-American athlete, and he won gold at that Olympics.
Okay.
And there was always a story where Hitler refused to applaud and refused to shake his hand.
Okay.
That story is actually not true. If you look at the footage, the world leader who is not applauding Jesse Owens is actually FDR.
Damn, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Hitler is standing up and giving him a rousing standing ovation.
Okay.
Because he was very impressed with his with
Athletic
what he
skill.
did. He wasn't happy because he beat Germans, but he was in the moment he was impressed with what happened.
Okay.
Afterwards, he was really pissed off because Germany lost. But yeah, it was FDR refused to stand up and give him an ovation.
And we have another episode of Debunking Myths. with
Exactly.
Nick. Yeah.
Doodly-doodly-doo.
We should have a whole debunking urban legends and myths.
Well, to be fair, that is going to be in the misconceptions episode, the misconceived
How
facts.
big is that episode going to be?
God, hours. We might have to break that up into parts.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, each season is based on a letter. They've gone from A to S. It's been going since
Jesus
2006. So I could find so many facts. So,
Okay.
But there is a really funny episode. I think I told you about this. So there's one comedian, because they always have comedians on, called Alan Davis, and he's been in there since episode 1.
Okay.
I think he's missed one episode due to illness. He's been in every other episode.
Damn.
And there's one episode where they go back and retroactively award them points for either things that have changed or for questions that they actually got right.
Okay.
He got 4,500 points.
Damn. What? Okay, this guy has got to be the master at this point.
Well, no, it's because he got so many wrong that they retroactively came back to him because science has changed or...
Science.
Yeah.
Science.
Good old science.
You know that meme that's of oh my God, who's that scientist with the big hair?
Albert
It's
Einstein?
science. No. It's from the History Channel or something.
Oh,
It's
are you talking about ancient aliens?
Yeah,
Science.
yeah, science.
Yeah, he's not a scientist. He's just some guy with a Greek
some guy
name.
with a weird
and crazy hair.
Yeah,
He's
crazy hair.
a ufologist.
Oh, okay.
UFO-ologist. Ufologist.
Ufology.
I actually think that's the official term. I don't think I'm making that up.
Well, it's okay. I'm just gonna accept defeat here while I'm ahead.
So anyway, moving on to the next sport, which is going to take me a minute to figure out what the hell it is because it's in Spanish. It's Basque Pelota,
Basque Pelota.
which apparently, well, it says in the United States is better known as Jai Alai, but I've never heard of that. So it's
That
better
doesn't
known
make
as.
it any better. I was like, okay, in the United States it's known as so it's probably gonna be in English. That
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
sound like English.
It's Jaialai.
What?
So
Okay.
Basque Pelota is known as the fastest sport in the world. Only two. Okay, but can you tell me what the sport is?
Maybe it's taking meth and then just running around.
Maybe. Oh, it's the La Tomatina from last episode.
Are you kidding me?
No, yeah, I'm kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say. Oh my god.
Let's see if Olympedia will tell me what the bloody hell it is. Pelota is a generic name for various animals. Yes, I know that. I did take Spanish in high school. I just don't speak it.
Okay.
The best
Let's hear
known
some
version is
Spanish,
probably
Nick.
which uses baskets to handle the ball.
Okay. Basketball?
No, it's not quite basketball. It's I don't know what it is, but this will tell you.
Okay.
So all-time medal table. In the lead is Spain, unsurprisingly, because it's called Basque Pelota.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also the only team on the list because they only got one medal. One gold.
What?
Yeah.
Is it like, okay, weird. I mean, the fact that you can't find any good information on this sport,
Yeah.
right? And the fact that it's just gibberish to an American ear.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know.
The ball was traveling at 125 miles an hour. What the hell is this sport?
What the what? First of all, how can you? Well, maybe it's baseball, right?
Here we go. Spond, whatever the hell that website is.
Okay.
But apparently they have a description of it. So
Okay.
let me see if I can find it on their list.
Let's hear the description of a ball going at 120 miles per hour. I mean, I couldn't think of anything else except for like a baseball.
Donde estás Basque Pelota?
Donde estás Basque Pelota? Oh my god! I would like to see you go. I would like to see you do a vlog on our channel, Nick, where you go to Spain and then you attempt to speak Spanish at a high school level.
Oh god, the last time I went to Spain, it didn't end well because I went to Barcelona and I was speaking Castilian Spanish, and
Oh my
they
God.
speak Basque Spanish, so it wasn't very good.
Oh,
So,
damn. Okay.
anyway, so let's see what Spond is all about. So, Basque Pelota, a high-speed ball game from the Basque region, involves hitting a ball against a wall using various tools like hands, rackets, or bats. So it's basically the wall game,
Yeah.
with using a baseball bat
So it's like
and a tennis racket.
Yeah, so it's like when you go to the park and there's like a big concrete wall in the tennis court, right? And then you're just you're just playing with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even the bloody picture doesn't provide any...
Yeah.
he's
that
just
doesn't-
holding a stick.
Yeah. Where's the wall that they hit? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
What is wrong with you, Spain?
I mean,
Well, there's a lot wrong with Spain. But anyway...
you know, maybe it's the colonization of multiple different innocent countries, but we're going to skip past that, especially as a Filipino, you know.
Oh, God, we've got another one now. We're going to French.
Oh, God. Okay.
Jus de pomme.
Jus de... What?
Which is probably wrong because it's P-A-U-M-E instead of P-O-M-M-E.
Jus de pommel.
Jus de pomme.
Arc de Triomphe. I don't know.
Right, top end sports. What is...
Were you just you were either throwing up, gagging, or belching?
Isn't that how you speak French? Oh!
Can I get a croissant? Croissant.
I saw a thing the other day where it was like... French is basically if you took Italian and subtracted the Spanish.
That is okay. That's fair. I think. I assume.
Oh, it's a form of tennis. Okay.
Okay.
So it's court tennis.
Everything is a form of tennis,
AKA real tennis.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird version of tennis.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you think about it, every sport that involves
Oh.
hitting a ball is a weird version of tennis.
I know what real tennis is. So when I was back home in November, I actually went to this place to play pool with my dad.
Okay.
And it was this like racket and something club because they had tennis courts, they had this real tennis, they had all these things, but they also had a pool table. So it's pretty much anything that you can hit a ball with some form of a stick.
Yeah.
In this one building.
Yeah.
And so we watched some of this real tennis. I had no idea what was going on.
Okay.
Because, so imagine a tennis court, but then you've got like this pavilion off to the side.
Okay.
And when you serve, you don't hit it over the net, you hit it off the pavilion. And it's got this slope, and the ball comes down the slope and then comes towards the other players.
So it's diagonal tennis.
Basically. But you can use, there's also a pavilion behind each of the teams, and then there's a wall on this side. So you can use any of the pavilions to like.
So okay, so if you're hitting the pavilion instead of like going over the net, does the other player turn around expecting the ball to be behind them or something?
No, they just have to watch where the ball's going to be and then react to it. So when we were there, we were watching, there were these 4 elderly women playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, no disrespect that, because they were in their 80s and could probably kick my ass at any sport.
Okay.
They were very, very good at what they were doing.
Damn, okay.
But the way they were playing, I have no idea what was going on. I don't know how they were getting points, because they would just stop playing at random moments.
Okay.
Like, it didn't make any sense, but that's what this jeu de pomme, the jeu de, whatever the bloody hell the French word is, real tennis.
Jeu de pomme. The last part of that sounds like it's a potato, because pomme is like,
potato flew around my room.
Isn't pomme a potato or something like that?
The way I was saying it's not the way that you spell pomme, it's P-A-U-M-E.
Yeah.
So that's why it's probably jeu de pomme.
Jeu de pomme.
Pomme.
I don't even know, but that's like whenever you see like a group of old people playing like a deck of cards, right? And then they just say some random phrase like, "I've got balls to the wall."
I've got jus de pomme.
I've got jus de pomme. So does that mean that you won or what?
If you've got jus de pomme?
Yeah, if you got jus de pomme. Instead of winning Uno, I won Trace.
Trace? What?
Yeah.
Oh, I get what you...
Yeah. Instead of DOS. We're going to skip DOS because there's an actual game called DOS.
Dos Equis?
Yes.
Do you want to hear a joke?
Okay.
So there was a Spanish magician, and he got on stage and he said, "On the count of 3, I'm going to make myself disappear."
Okay.
And he started counting, 1, 2, and he was gone without a trace.
Oh my God. Perfect segue into the next Olympic sport.
Well,
I'm assuming because you're so good at transitions.
I mean, it's kind of perfect. So the name of it is roque. It's R-O-Q-U-E.
Okay.
Which is actually just the middle of croquet if you take out the C and the ET.
It also sounds like the way Scooby-Doo would say okay. Roque. Roque, Raggy.
And if it came back, we could just get Dwayne The Rock Johnson to do it. Dwayne The Roque Johnson.
Dwayne The Roque Johnson. Exactly.
So roque,
okay,
Santa Cruz, is an American variant of croquet, played on a hard, smooth surface. So the reason I picked this one, even though it's just a variant of croquet, is because... So when it was played in the 1904 Summer Olympics, it was billed as the game of the century.
The game of the century, even though it's an American interpretation of something. That would be like if you're calling American football the game of the millennium.
Which, I mean, they do.
They do.
It always annoys me when they do that.
It annoys you.
Well, it's like, I heard that as well. I was like, I really hope that didn't come up. But it really frustrates me when that happens, because it's like when they call themselves world champions. It's like, you're not the champions of the world. You're the champions of America.
Yeah. So it would make more sense to call like whoever won the World Cup the world champions, because it's the actual world. Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. Precisely.
So,
yes.
So that was the reason I picked that one, was because I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. The game of... And it's also kind of like tying, calling World War I as the Great War, right?
Yeah.
The war to end all wars.
And then 20 years later, they had another one.
Yep. Exactly. It's just so like... ironic, don't you think? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're bringing up Natalie Imbruglia again.
Yes, I am. I'm bringing up Alanis Morissette.
Yeah. I'm torn on whether I should laugh or not.
Which is ironic.
So I'm just trying to find something, because I had something saved, and I'm trying to see if I still have it in my notes.
Okay.
Because, so this isn't necessarily a particular sport, but there's a marathon from one of the earliest Olympics.
Okay.
And everything that could go wrong goes wrong.
So it's the Goes Wrong show.
Let me see if I can... Let me just step into my library. I'll be right back.
Okay. Man, this whole thing with the library, this is new lore to us.
How do I have so much space in my house for a live band, a live studio audience, and a library?
And a swimming pool in the library. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I was going to try and make a splashing sound, but here was it. This one? I think it's this one. So it's the 1904 marathon, which took place in St. Louis. So that would make sense why Roque was there.
We're okay.
So the race was run during the hottest part of the day on dusty country roads with minimal water supply.
Okay.
With 32 athletes coming from 7 nations, only 14 managed to complete the race.
That sounds like Burning Man.
Yeah, it's
literally just Burning Man.
It's a bit like if Burning Man and Firefest had a child.
Yeah. So what if Burning Man, the Fire Festival, and the Olympics had a baby together?
Is the 1904 Summer Olympics marathon.
Yes, exactly.
So the 7 nations were the US, France, Cuba, Greece, the Orange River Colony.
The what?
Yep. We need to look up where that is.
The Orange River Colony. Is that like, it reminds me of like the Indus Valley civilization.
Red River Valley. The Orange River... I should know this because it's a British colony, apparently.
Oh!
The Orange River Colony was the British colony created after Britain first occupied and then annexed the independent Orange Free State in the Second Boer War.
Is it still a colony? Or
no,
is
the
it
colony
now
ceased to exist in 1910 when it was absorbed into South Africa. So that's why I didn't... Because it... Yeah.
Okay.
So
the Orange River Colony is now practically Lesotho, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a way to turn Lesotho into a colour, but I can't think of... Anyway, because of the Orange River Colony.
Yeah.
So Frederick Lortz was greeted as the apparent winner. He was later disqualified as he had hitched a ride in a car.
Well, I would consider that cheating, I think. Just like on the very basic basis of what cheating would be, I would think that taking a car...
Absolutely.
And this is like what,
1904. So the car would probably go slower than any running that you could do.
Exactly. It would probably be what's the first, like, you know, that the first model of car. I think it's like the Benz like auto machine, something like that. It was made by Benz, one of the Mercedes-Benz guys. I think it was Benz who created the first automobile. Yeah. And it was like it was a German name. It was like a
Gottlieb Daimler.
Is that his name? Gottlieb.
He was the one that created the engine for the first cars.
Yeah, but basically it's that weird. Basically it's just a seat, right? Or it looks like a penny farthing bicycle.
Yeah, with an engine attached to it.
Yeah, with an engine. Yeah, basically, and I would imagine that's what cars looked like.
Absolutely.
Or maybe he drove in a Model T.
Mr.
Right.
T.
Yeah.
Well, no, because Model T came out in 1905. So it couldn't even have been a Model T. Could have been a Ford, though, because it was St. Louis.
Could it have been, I mean...
Could have been a Model S.
X or T.
Oh, the wrong way around, S?
Yeah. Model S or a Model X or a Y.
Model R.
Yeah.
So, going off a bit tangent, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
The first speeding ticket.
Okay.
It was at 8 miles an hour. And it was a woman who took her 2 kids to go and see her sister because she was so sick of her husband. So she got them in the car she'd never driven before. And the speed limit was 4.
Dude, I think Usain Bolt can run at twice that speed. Good Lord.
The cop that pulled her over was on a bicycle.
Oh my God.
And there's a picture, because I think it took them so long to process that a cameraman actually showed up, and there's a picture of her and her 2 kids in the car and this copper on his bicycle.
Jesus Christ.
So funny.
And I see people like, on the main roadways that I take to work going like well over like 30 or 40 past the speed limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If this lot were driving in Las Vegas, they would be screwed.
Yeah.
So anyway, a bit more about this Lortz, Frederick Lortz. Mm-hmm. So the first to arrive at the finish line after 3 hours and 13 minutes, more than 13 minutes slower than the winning time in 1900. So even though he cheated, he was still 13 minutes slower. So after being hailed as the winner, he had his photograph taken with Alice Roosevelt, who was Teddy Roosevelt's daughter.
Okay.
She placed a wreath upon his head and was about to award him the gold medal when spectators claimed Lortz had not run the entire race.
Oh.
Lortz, suffering cramps, had actually dropped out of the race after 9 miles
Okay.
and hitched a ride back to the stadium in a car, waving at spectators and runners alike during the ride.
Why was he waving? That's the weirdest thing, is why was he waving?
The weirdest thing, when the car broke down at the 19th mile,
Oh no.
he re-entered the race
Okay.
and jogged across the finish line.
Oh my God.
But then it gets better or worse,
Okay.
depending on how you think of it. The actual winner, Thomas Hicks,
Okay.
was near collapse and hallucinating by the end of the race.
Yeah, I would assume so.
A side effect of being administered brandy, raw eggs, and strychnine by his trainers.
Oh.
So he was hallucinating, about to throw up,
Yeah.
and under the influence of brandy, raw eggs, and strychnine.
See, sometimes I forget that this was in the very early 1900s. Like, if there's an event that happened before the Titanic sank, I think it would be safe to assume that doctors did not have the advancements that we do.
So here, let's give a bit more background on...
Yeah.
Thomas Hicks ended up as the winner of the event. 10 miles from the finish, Hicks led the race by 1.5 miles, but he had to be restrained from stopping and lying down by his trainers.
Okay.
From then until the end of the race, Hicks received several doses of strychnine, a common rat poison,
Yeah.
which stimulates the nervous system in small doses,
Oh, God.
mixed with brandy and egg whites.
Oh no.
This was the earliest recorded use of performance-enhancing drugs.
Why would you consider that a performance enhancing? If anything, it weakened him so much. So why would it be enhancing him?
Oh my God, he lost 8 pounds during the course of the marathon.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. So
Yeah.
anyway, so one last story about this marathon.
Okay.
So the 4th place competitor was a Cuban postman called Andarin Carvajal.
Okay.
So he arrived at the last minute because he lost all of his money in New Orleans gambling.
Okay.
So he hitchhiked to St. Louis and had to run the event in street clothes that he cut around the legs to make them into shorts.
Okay.
Not having eaten in 40 hours, he
Jesus
saw
Christ.
a spectator eating 2 peaches. He asked if he could have the peaches, and the spectator declined. He then stole both peaches and ran away. Later, he stopped off at an orchard en route to eat some apples, which turned out to be rotten. The rotten apples caused him to have strong stomach cramps, and he had to lie down and take a nap. Despite his discomfort and the pause, Carvajal still managed to finish in 4th place. Arriving without the correct documents, Albert Corey, a French immigrant to the US, is inconsistently listed as participating in a mixed team in the 4-mile race. Jesus Christ, this is just getting ridiculous now.
I think we should bring this one back strictly for the stories.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like, what would that look like in the
100%.
modern world? So, this guy had cramps midway throughout the race, so he boarded a Lamborghini and finished in 5 minutes.
This guy was given rat poison, tequila, and avocados because we're bringing it into the 21st century.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we've got a Cuban postman who showed up after gambling in Las Vegas.
No, he wouldn't. Drink rat poison. We need the equivalent of rat poison in the
that's
21st
true.
century, which is Scottish haggis. Moving on to the next sport.
Well, no, there's one more story from this. So the South African entrants Len Tuanwane and Jan Mashiani finished 9th and 12th respectively.
Okay.
This was a disappointment as many observers were sure Tuanwane could have done better if he'd not been chased nearly a mile off course by wild dogs.
Okay.
So it's a miracle anyone finished this race.
How do we bring this to the 21st century? So the dogs would not be wild dogs; they would be the robot dogs powered by AI.
Yep.
Chasing him away.
That Elon Musk created.
Yes, exactly.
And it would be perfect going against South Africans because he's South African. So it would be racism against his own people.
Exactly. And he would send those AI wild dogs out on him.
Yep.
Man, but dude, I can't even imagine because it's like, okay, so you said it was like a race in like the heat and stuff like that, right?
Well, and that was the other thing. So that Wikipedia page didn't mention it, but I've read it before. The other thing was they were racing on what was effectively a dirt road.
Yeah.
So they kept getting all this sand in their lungs.
Yeah.
So after the fact, they all ended up with all these breathing problems because they all, like, their lungs were torn to pieces because
Lord.
of all this, like, dirt and sand that
Yeah.
were invading their lungs.
That are not only
So-
not only are they created from the steps that they take, but also from the wake of other runners in front of them. Unless, of course, you're the guy who finished in first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who got disqualified.
Yeah. He was the one causing all of that dirt and sand, the wheels of the cars.
Right? That was going at 3 miles an hour.
I mean, still, that could cause a lot of like different, particles.
Right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it would until you ran past it.
That's true. But who could outrun a car going at 3 miles an hour?
But then again, that's the thing. No one else was outrunning them because they were all either drugged, eating rotten apples, or getting chased by dogs.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
So that's why no one else could make it. Or
Oh,
the French
man.
guy that showed up with the wrong paperwork and he wasn't even registered to run in the race anyway.
Are the people who are saying that they were born in the wrong generation still going to say that when they have to participate in this race?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
You know?
100%.
Like, I mean, good Lord. And I just imagine the guy who like cut up his street clothes, because in the early 1900s, the street clothes are like, you had to wear like several layers, first of all, not only as a lady, but as a guy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yes, ladies had to wear like several freaking like corsets.
Are you sure
Like-
you're not thinking of like the French court of Louis the XIV? Like, I mean, they had to wear layers, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like they weren't strapped into a corset and then they didn't have a petticoat and then they didn't have a lower dress and then the main dress and
I
then
thought they would have had a petticoat like in the early
they,
1900s.
but there's a couple less layers than I think you're thinking of.
Okay.
Because I think you're thinking of like Marie
1800s,
Antoinette.
yeah.
You've been listening to Les Miserables too much. So
I've been so miserable recently.
absolutely. I mean, there was a thing. Touche. There was a thing where like when women went swimming, they still had to wear effectively a dress.
Yeah.
Because it was scandalous to show their ankles.
Ooh, ankles.
I know. Heaven
Jesus.
forbid the ankles. So,
My goodness.
Yeah. Good heavens, she's showing her leg. Oh my God.
What?
I say.
Impossible. I
Impossibly.
say. Yeah, I
So-
say.
So there was still, because you see pictures of like, say for example, women playing football or soccer
Yeah.
in the early 1900s. And
I like how you switched accents there.
I had to, it doesn't seem right saying
Yeah.
it in my natural accent.
Okay.
But they're playing in like full trousers. They've got blouses on.
Yeah.
They've got hats on. They're basically wearing
Good
heels.
God,
And
okay.
it's like, just let them play normally, you stupid. I mean, when men started playing in the 1800s, they
Yeah.
pretty much wore suits. But that's
Yeah.
because they hadn't figured out the rules of the sport yet.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
So,
They were just doing that to torment women because apparently it's poppycock.
Poppycock.
To wear anything less than like a full friggin' gown.
absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, so but I would imagine like that guy who wore street clothes, right? See, he probably still had like a full suit on.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right?
and back then, that was like, if you cut up that one
Yeah.
suit, that was like your one suit.
Yeah.
So,
So I can imagine him wearing that like in everyday life. He just goes to his job.
Yeah.
Like what's his name?
I've already left the page, sorry.
Let's just call him like Odysseus Lacedemus. Odysseus.
Yeah, there you go. Well, no, he was Cuban.
Okay.
Olympic marathon gone wrong. Let's have a look.
I don't
What
know.
was his name? It was like Carlos Alcaron or something like that. But I don't want to be racist and assume that. Oh, and Darin Carvajal. There you go.
Andarin? Okay.
Yeah.
Andarin, when you okay. I can imagine Andarin Carvajal going into work and his boss just being like, "Why is your suit torn up?"
Although to be fair, he was a postman, so maybe he would have got away with it.
Maybe he had a separate uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what if he wore his postman uniform?
Right.
I'm just delivering the mail. Don't mind me.
Well, he was Cuban, so they would probably have been a bit confused by because it's probably one of those things where he probably had like a formal like military uniform, even though he was a postman.
Oh, boy.
Because it's like, in Spain they have uniforms for everything.
Yeah.
So the Spanish influence in Cuba is probably like he's got a big feather in his hat or something.
Yep. Or like the Royal Guard in Britain
With the big hats.
with the big hair, the big hats. Yeah. What if he was wearing that just as he's running the marathon?
Especially with everything else that went wrong, he would probably have passed out.
Exactly. Yeah. He wouldn't have had time to steal those peaches.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially because there was already a problem with dehydration, so he'd probably really passed out.
Yeah. He got his peaches out in the race. He got his weed from California.
My mind went somewhere else then. He
got my peaches out in Georgia.
He got his peaches out in the race.
Oh my God. Well, no, that's not until Super Mario Day. Anyway.
So on to the next race.
Okay.
So this is a race where you definitely won't get dehydrated.
Okay.
So it's called plunging for distance.
Okay.
And which Olympic Games was it in? Oh, it was in St. Louis as well, so it was in 1904.
Nice. St. Louis has a variety of weather.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I think it's a perfect place to be. Yeah.
So what website? Oh, I'm on Olympics.com this time. So I'm on an actual website.
And also the fact that I think you told me about the Museum of Illusions in St. Louis. So it was Moist Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So what a great website.
Yes.
So plunge for distance was actually an Olympic sport, but you might well wonder what kind of sport it was.
Okay.
Well, the principle was to dive from a standing position and try to jump the farthest. The jump was measured after a competitor had spent 60 seconds underwater.
Oh.
Or as soon as their head rose above the surface.
Okay.
So it's basically just jump in the water, go as far down as you can for 60 seconds.
It sounds like reverse diving.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you're not going in with any finesse.
Yeah.
So...
Because you start off submerged and then you just jump as far as you can. So it is reverse diving, yeah.
So to
You're
be
already
precise,
underwater.
the American Swim Association defined it as a dive from a stationary takeoff, which is free from spring from a height of 18 inches above the water. Upon reaching the water, the plunger glides face downward. Oh, so it is face. I was thinking they were going in legs first.
Okay.
For a period of 60 seconds without imparting any propulsion to the body from arms or legs.
That's such a early 1900s description.
Without imparting any propulsion to the body from the arms or legs.
Yes.
So effectively, you have to jump in the water, go as far as you can and stay down for 60 seconds.
Okay.
But you're not allowed to kick or,
So it's just like how naturally you would
fall in the water.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
And then when you rose up above the water, you just jump as far as you can.
Oh my God. Sorry. So for the record, William Paul Dickey of the USA won the contest with a jump measured at 62 feet and 6 inches.
How is this guy a dolphin?
Right.
Like, it's...
That's ridiculous.
Because you know how, this guy's probably a dolphin. I'm just saying. This guy, like check him for,
Sorry, I was just laughing. So
I don't know what you're laughing at.
I know,
Nick.
but I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Patience, sir, patience. For different reasons, the St. Louis plunging experience was not repeated 4 years later at the 1908 Olympic Games in London. The main one was that it was not considered so many as athletic enough. In the New York Times, John Kiernan wrote that it was like, and I quote, mere mountains of fat who fell in the water
what the hell?
more or less successfully and dependent upon inertia to get their points for them.
Okay.
So basically they were saying that it was just a bunch of fat
Yes.
I really didn't censor that well, did I?
Take the most annoying person in school, right?
Yeah.
Who takes everything like literally and technically, who's like also the teacher. You know what? Take the fucking Polar Express kid who was like...
Oh, yeah, the kid that everyone hates.
Yeah. Hey, do you know what kind of train this is? What kind of train this is? Well, do ya?
Do ya?
Yeah.
Do ya?
No. But yeah, so, oh my God. I mean, you can describe any sport like that.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say long jump. It's just bags of fat, running across... the pavement and then trying to jump into sand as far as they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that about any sport. And then, it wouldn't be like taken away, or maybe it will. Who knows? Maybe in the next Olympics in 2028?
Yes.
Right? Maybe we won't have long jump anymore because it's just bags of fat hurling across the air and into sand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, that is quite athletic because you do need quite a lot of force to fling.
Yeah, yourself from the water. And especially, you know those pictures of like Olympic swimmers who are just about to break the surface tension of the water?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just breaking the surface tension of that water alone requires a lot of energy. And being able to jump, the record was like 60 feet, something like that, right?
62 feet.
Yeah. To be able to jump from underwater, break the surface tension.
Oh, no. So I think you're misunderstanding what.
Okay.
So it's the distance you can go down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because that's the point of the 60 seconds. But you can't have any. So that's why that New York Times guy was so harsh.
Okay.
Because he was just like, this fat guy just went in the water and just went down for 62 feet.
Okay, you can say that about diving as well, like Olympic diving. This guy just went down into the water.
But that's not true because there's some finesse about it. This is literally you just jump and go down.
So essentially, it's like me going into the pool at any time, like whenever like I'm low on energy or something, I'd just be like, pool.
I mean, but I would hope that you're not going down 62 feet.
I am.
Jesus, what pool are you going to? Is it the one in the library?
Yes, anyway, the swimming pool in the library.
So we're going to do a quick fire round now.
Okay.
Because I've just live research in the library next to the pool. I've just found a BuzzFeed article.
Okay.
And this goes through some ridiculous ones. So the first one is tug of war. We've already done that one.
Mm-hmm.
This one was from 1984 to 1992. So it wasn't even in the early days.
Okay.
So what the hell were people... Actually, I know what people were smoking in the 80s. It was crack. But
Is there anything else that they were smoking in the 1880s? I mean, what?
Solo synchronized swimming.
Okay. I can imagine how that would look. It would just look like, I don't know.
But to quote BuzzFeed, synchronized with who?
Yeah.
What the hell was going on in the late 80s?
You're synchronized with your mind and your body.
I have become one with myself.
Yeah, it's the hippie mentality of the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have become synchronized with my mind and my body, and I can synchronize swimming by myself.
It's like that Dalai Lama joke.
Yeah.
What does the Dalai Lama say when he orders pizza?
What?
Make me one with everything.
Yes. I'm not even mad at that joke. It's
great
That's
joke.
just clever.
It's a
yeah.
great joke. Anyway, so we're jumping back in time to the 1900.
Okay.
So the second modern Olympics. Life-saving.
What?
Despite only being in one Olympics, life-saving is actually a real sport.
Wait, hold on.
Events included things like mannequin relays and rescue races.
Oh, I was gonna say, are they like doing like simulated life saving, or are they actually doing like actual life saving? Like they just take patients from the hospital and be like, hey, how fast can you perform CPR on this guy?
Yeah. So I like the last sentence in that bit. Cue Baywatch slow-mo.
Yeah.
No, that's Jarrett's Fire. What's the Baywatch theme song?
I am Baymax, your personal. Was it?
See, it's funny.
Healthcare
I've never
companion.
seen Real Hero 6 or whatever it's called.
Big Hero
that's it.
6. Real Hero 6 is the knockoff version. You know, like those knockoff movies, like where like Ratatouille, the knockoff is like Ratatouille or something.
It's like real tennis. It's the tennis that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one is ski ballet.
Okay.
This took place from 1988 to 1992.
That just sounds like cool, badass.
Oh, it was only a
Ski
demonstration
ballet.
sport, but still, of course, it looks like it was in Canada. It's got to be in Canada with the way that it's got to be.
Well, I mean, that's also like a demonstration of skill, right? Because if you can do ballet while you're skiing down a slope, it's already...
I mean, if you can do ballet and skiing anyway, but if you can put them together, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's already hard to ski down a double black diamond slope. Now imagine the Swan Lake being mixed in with that double black diamond.
Yeah.
And then the swans hit their eye on the sharp edge of the double black diamond.
It would be just Black Swan.
Yes.
So, moving on to the next one, we're jumping back to 1900 again.
Okay.
Hot air ballooning.
See this one, because I'm not saying that hot air ballooning is easy, right? But what is even the objective? It's not even like a race. It doesn't even
Here,
sound
I can
like
tell
a
you
race.
the objective.
Okay.
I was going to say drivers,
Drivers,
because drivers just doesn't sound right for a hot air balloon. Like
Flyers, pilots.
Yeah, that sounds better. Drivers competed not just for speed, but also to reach the highest altitude.
So it is a race, but also to reach the highest altitude. So what? Once you reach the stratosphere and you're devoid of oxygen in the hot air balloon basket, but you are going the fastest because it's where the air is thinnest.
Yep.
Right. You're just like, I won.
Pomme de terre, or whatever the what was the jus de pomme? That was it. Pomme de terre's apple.
Pomme de jus?
No, it's not apple, is it? What's pomme de terre? Pomme de terre's potato.
Pomme de au jus. Oh my god, I love au jus. It's like a
French dip is very good.
yeah.
Anyway, on to the next one. So
Yeah.
this event lasted
Now I'm
from
just
1912 to 1948.
Okay.
If you thought hot air ballooning was bad, painting and sculpture.
That doesn't seem bad at all because it actually requires skill.
But where's the athleticism?
I mean, in sculpture, if you're sculpting marble, man, that's hard.
But compared to the 1904 marathon,
I mean, you can compare anything to the 1904
it's
marathon.
true, but it's one of those things. It's like, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
this is, we might lose our American listeners, which
Yeah.
isn't going to be good. I
Okay.
don't think baseball should be an Olympic sport.
It's
It's going to be.
I mean, it's
but I don't
skill
think
and
it should
strength,
be.
man.
It's a bunch of people wearing pajamas eating sunflower seeds for
Oh my
9
God.
hours.
So
It's
you
like
don't
cricket.
you
Cricket
don't
shouldn't be in there because it goes on for 5 days.
If basketball can be in the Olympics, then so can baseball.
Well, that's another one. I don't think basketball should be either. But at least there's a bit more
Okay.
athleticism in basketball.
Well, I mean, there's
the
a lot
thing-
of
the
there's
thing
a
with-
lot of athleticism in baseball, though.
I mean, to be fair, I can't throw
Can
at
you play-
115 miles an hour.
Yeah, can you play baseball? You can't. No.
But then again, I also can't play darts, and I don't think that should be an Olympic sport.
Okay.
Just because I can't play it doesn't mean it should be an Olympic sport.
Well, I mean, baseball is one of those things because it's an actual sport. It's a sport that's not only played by Americans, mind you. Japan's pastime is baseball.
Is it, though?
It is.
Is it, though?
It is.
I'm pretty sure having samurai is Japan's pastime.
No.
Pastime.
Which should be in the Olympics, just like
Samurai?
samurai, just a demonstration of because I mean yes, taekwondo is in the Olympics,
Judo.
right? But so should samurai, and with real swords that can actually cut people.
Anyway, so the Olympics used to have more of an artistic flair, as it turns out, because architecture, literature, music, painting, and sculpture. To be fair, there is another one that I don't know is on this list, but there used to be city planning.
Now that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think the municipality should go down here.
well, no, it was
10 points.
It was actually like creating an overview for a city. So like
Yeah.
where the streets are going and where the buildings are going to be
I
and
think
where the
there should be
sanitation is going to
a
be.
parking lot down
But
here.
anyway, for a quick
20
fire
points.
round, we've got through 4 events. So
Okay.
quick fire. Pigeon shooting. That, I mean, to be fair, it says 1900, but we do also have, clay pigeon shooting.
Well,
but
pigeons
the thing is,
are an invasive species
but that's
anyway.
the thing. This was actual pigeons. They did
Yeah.
shoot actual pigeons.
Because pigeons are an
Yeah.
invasive species in that experiment.
For 40 years, from 1908 to 1948, we had running deer shooting.
Running what now?
Deer shooting.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh,
So
they
it's-
didn't shoot at actual deer. It was just a target. Okay.
Okay.
But even still.
This should just be classified as hunting, both that and the pigeon
Yeah.
shooting. Yeah.
From 1896, so the first Olympics, to 1932, we had rope climbing.
That makes sense.
So basically just climbing up a rope in one direction.
Yeah. Makes sense. Athleticism, skill, yeah.
This sounds fun. They should bring this back, especially because the picture is an inflatable.
Okay.
But I imagine that it wasn't that way.
Is it the balls?
Obstacle course swimming.
Okay. I was going to say,
The picture is one of those inflatable
oh,
islands.
good Lord.
Can you imagine if it was someone running around that? That
When
would
you
be
said-
amazing.
When you said inflatables, I thought it was like the hamster wheel that people go in.
Oh, like the
Yeah.
Zorbs?
Yeah, and then there's a race between people in the desert, where you have to cut up your dress clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got the opposite of the plunging. We've got distance diving.
Which is
You dive and see who can dive the furthest. So it's basically like the plunging where you couldn't kick your arms or legs.
It's basically the first part of every Olympic swimming.
But here's the thing. Dubbed the dullest sport of all time.
Yeah, because when you do Olympic swimming, right? You dive and then you see how far it takes you before you start, using your arms. But then if somebody just did that and then it's just like boop.
Yep.
The end. That's it.
But see, I'd rather watch what happened in 1908.
What happened?
Pistol dueling.
Oh, Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
Yeah.
As if there aren't enough shooting-related events on the list already, we're taking things up a notch. In this sport, if you can call it that, competitors actually shot at each other. With wax bullets, but still.
Yeah, because
I love this last sentence. This is a bit too much for my Canadian heart to handle. Bloody Canadians.
Yeah, they hate fun over that. I'm just kidding.
What the hell is pole archery?
Archery with a pole?
No, so this one also has its very own unique name. Popinjay.
Well, I would imagine it as like javelin throwing.
No.
So a big thing and then you just...
Nope.
Okay.
You're completely wrong. So popinjay, or pole archery, this sport consisted of archers shooting at fake birds that were hung from tall poles.
Why birds again?
So there's the picture.
Oh my God.
So there's just a couple of discs hung on a pole.
And it's the same thing. It's just archery, but like more complicated for some
Instead
reason.
of being, what is it? The vertical, which I could never remember which way is vertical.
Horizontal.
Which way is horizontal? Horizontal's this way. So instead of being horizontal, it's vertical.
Yeah. So, I mean, instead of fighting against the wind, you're fighting against gravity, essentially.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well,
so no, we're not finished.
We're not finished.
We've got one more.
Okay, one more.
Because the last one's croquet, and that's boring because it's coming back.
We're okay.
Equestrian vaulting. So
Vaulting.
I'm going to read this word for word from what our Canadian friend said.
Okay.
Now, this one sounds very entertaining, and I say that because he spelt it with like 4 R's.
Okay.
Basically, athletes had to do a whole bunch of creative stuff with horses, jumping over them, mounting them from standing, and doing freestyle moves on a horse as it walked.
Mm-hmm. What about... No, I'm not going to make that joke. I'm not going to make that joke.
Go on.
Nope.
Go on.
No, I'm not going to make that joke.
Go on.
This episode is not going to end until I say horses.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't make that joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately for you lot, that wasn't censored for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
So equestrian vaulting, because we needed more sports with horses.
Yay!
No, the horse ones are interesting. The equestrian is actually quite interesting. I don't understand it because, again, it's a sport that I would never be able to do. And it's also one of those sports that's quite restrictive because you have to be quite rich to own a horse. But the things that they do with the horses are quite interesting. So,
I mean, it also takes a lot of skill to ride a horse.
And it can also be like, so I remember at the last Olympics, they were talking about one of the British competitors, and he was in his 60s.
Okay.
So it's one of those sports that it's not age restrictive. It's like you can't have a marathon
you can be
running.
like a 10-year-old riding a horse and then
exactly.
You're done.
So it's like the skateboarder that was like 11 and she won an Olympic gold medal, bless her.
That's so fair, though. Yeah.
So
anyway.
Yeah. So those were, the ones I was looking for. I couldn't find the city planning. I don't think anyone saw that one. Because that was another fact that I learned on QI.
Okay.
But yeah, there's painting and sculpting, the hot air ballooning, like all those, the bloody plunging one.
Oh my God. Well, what is your question of the week, Nick?
If you could make anything an Olympic sport, what would it be?
For me, this is kind of difficult. It would probably be, oh man, what do I do all day? Right? Gaming. Competitive gaming, esports.
I'm wondering if esports will ever come into the Olympics. I think there'd be a lot of uproar if it came in now, but I think if it was something that came in the next, I could see virtual reality being an impact on the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. Just doing Olympic sports, but in virtual reality. That could help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just play on Wii Sports Resort.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Just doing that vertical archery.
Right.
On the Wii Sports.
See, I'm surprised that you didn't say something like listening to the entire discography of Taylor Swift.
I would say that, wouldn't I?
Yep.
But no.
You would have the gold medal. You would break all the records.
Oh, I would have so many gold medals that I think my neck would break.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But moving on from that,
to
from
think
me
more.
being a raging Swiftie,
Yep.
right? Before this episode hits an hour long.
God, that doesn't leave me enough time to think of my Olympic sport.
Do
What
it
would I
now,
think?
now.
So we've got video games because that would have been something that I would say. I don't know.
Come on, the pressure.
The pressure.
I'm going to start to play the It's Raining Taco song if you don't,
Oh, we had to have competitive taco eating.
There we go.
I said that I didn't like competitive food eating, but now that you said tacos, yeah.
That leads us to our outro. Thank you very much for
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much for this. Has been our longest episode ever. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Nick, play us out.
Bye.
It's raining tacos.